And welcome in to the Varsity Voices podcast presented by C Spire. It's our fourth quarter segment here on this Friday or Thursday, whatever day this might come out, because some games are being moved up and moved back because, whenever this one drops, whenever you're watching it, whether it's on YouTube or you're listening on Spotify or you're on Apple Podcasts, thanks for finding us. Be sure to like and subscribe. Joining us today, Brandon Davis, voice of the Warren Central Vikings, and Jared Schatz, voice of the Germantown Mavericks. And Jared probably has both of these guys are going to have some unique perspective today because we're breaking down 7A, 6A, and 5A playoff scenarios and playoff possibilities. Brandon Shields and I did this, last week? Last week, Brandon Shields was on with us from Mississippi Gridiron Capital Sports MS, and he joined and broke down 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A, going through all those scenarios, and so he's done it again. So the article is that we are referencing is on the website Capital Sports MS, and he has it there, MHSAA playoff scenarios. And this one's a little easier, guys, because like 85, the 7,500 teams make the playoffs in 4A through 1A. It's a little bit easier. There's only 4 districts in these classifications, so you don't have to go through quite as many. But Region 3, 7A laughed at that and said, ha, 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 we're not going to make it easy for anyone. So we're going to jump right in right at the top and take a look at the North bracket. North 7A, so Region 1, 7A, Region 2, 7A. In Region 1, it's fairly simple about the district winner. You're looking at DeSoto Central, Tupelo. Whoever wins that is your number 1 seed. After that, goes to a number of different scenarios where Tupelo could be the 1, Horn Lake could be the 2, DeSoto could be the 3, Hernando could be the 4. There's even scenarios where DeSoto Central is the 1 and Tupelo is the 2, Horn Lake's the 3, and South Haven is the 4. So there's a lot of, different scenarios that could play out. And the region they're matched up with, Region 2, a little bit easier to navigate, guys. And, of course, Jared, you know this region pretty well. That's where Germantown plays in. Oxford's the number 1. Germantown's the number 2. So those two teams are going to be at home in the first round of the postseason. Then you're looking at Madison Central and Clinton. Madison Central beats Clinton. Then Madison's the 3 seed. Starkville's the 4 seed. However, if Clinton beats Madison Central by 8 points, Starkville's the 3 seed and Clinton is the 4 seed. So still a little bit to play out in that region. Jared, since this is your area of expertise, we'll throw it to you for some interesting matchups or anything that stood out to you about these playoff scenarios.
Well, I think first and foremost, everybody knows that no matter what we're talking about in 7A, especially in the North, everybody's trying to dodge Tupelo. So that has been the goal of every team, 1, to make the playoffs, and 2, not have an early matchup with Tupelo. And the way that looks right now, Tupelo obviously going to host throughout the playoffs if they get the win. That's a pretty good DeSoto Central team led by Eric Perry, the quarterback, and that's an offense that averages about 38 points a ball game. If things shake out the way they are, you might have DeSoto Central, based on one of the more likely high percentage scenarios, DeSoto Central on the road at Germantown, which that's 2 really good offenses. So that's an intriguing matchup. And then if you're Tupelo, it looks like, you're going to be paired up with Starkville. And we know Starkville can score on just about anybody. So that's an intriguing matchup. Those two teams have played for many, many years and have met in the playoffs a lot recently. So those are 2 of the intriguing matchups out of the North, that I see. And watch out for Madison Central. I keep coming back to Madison Central. That defense is salty. They're running the football. If Madison Central, tees it up and they end up as the 3 seed, they're going to be on the road, obviously, and they're going to take on probably a Horn Lake team that's pretty good defensively, so that might be a mirror image of each other as those two battle it out. But some intriguing matchups in the North for sure.
So it sounds like what you're guesstimating, and of course as a guesstimation at this point, is the same as mine. In Region 1, Jared, I'm showing Tupelo as the 1. I just don't see DeSoto Central beating them unless for some reason Ty Harden wanted to rest his starters. I just don't see that happening. I've got Horn Lake 2, DeSoto Central at 3, and Hernando at 4, which is matching what you said. And then Region 2 is really simple. Oxford at 1, Germantown at 2. I like Madison Central to beat Clinton, and then that would put Starkville at the 4. So that's what I'm showing in 7A North.
Yeah, and look, Clinton, Madison Central, that is a rivalry game. I just don't know if Clinton can get enough offense. I know passing down the field has been a struggle. Meanwhile, Madison Central has gotten better at running. They've gotten better at throwing. That's a team offensively that's getting better every week. And not only that, guys, but Clinton has to win that ball game by, I believe it's 8 points or more. Yeah. And that's a tall task. And that game's at Madison Central on senior night. So this is a outstanding Arrow team, but their strength is pass defense. Madison Central is starting to run the ball, and that's, Clinton, can they stop throwing? Yeah, they've got some big boys, but Madison Central really can ground and pound. They're not going to take to the air except when they have spots.
Yeah, I agree. I like, but I would say I do like Clinton in the game against Madison Central. Maybe not sure if they get them by 8 points, but
right.
I still think Clinton. Madison gets that big, emotional win, last second field goal by Ross Beavers there over, Starkville, and it may be a little bit of a come down game against Clinton. But once again, as you said, Jared, beating them is one thing, but beating them by 8, completely different animal altogether. But that's a look at Region 1 and Region 2. And I might need a Gatorade, an energy drink, and a power bar before we take a look at Region 3. I mean, that is
ridiculous.
And of course, Jake Wimberly's not here to talk to us about. I think he missed on purpose so he wouldn't have to explain this to us. 9 different scenarios that could play out depending on who beats this one, or who loses it, or who wins this one by 10 points, who loses this one by 9 points. Also, there is a scenario where it could be a 5-way tie, and everybody could be 3-2, and then it comes down to point differentials, and then at some point they might have to flip a coin, right? I mean, rock, paper, scissors, draw straws to see. But to give you, without going through just every one of them, to give you an overview, you have where Petal could be the 1 seed, Oak Grove the 2 seed, Brandon 3 seed, Northwest Rankin the 4 seed, and then just hodgepodge all of those together, and it comes out to pretty much anyone could be the 1, the 2, the 3, or the 4. And so it is, it is a headache there in Region 3A. I hope Brandon Shields had a BC powder or something, a Tylenol, after looking at all of those scenarios. My eyes are going cross-eyed just kind of reading them off the page, let alone having to determine them. But thankfully, Region 4 is a little bit easier. Gulfport's number 1, Ocean Springs is number 2, right? And then you get into a situation of Ocean Springs can beat St. Martin. The winner of Biloxi and D'Iberville would be the 3. The loser would be the 4. If St. Martin beats Ocean Springs, tall task. But D'Iberville beats Biloxi. D'Iberville's the 3. St. Martin's the 4. There's a situation where St. Martin could be the 3. Biloxi could be the 4. So there's still a lot to play out, but nowhere near as hectic as Region 3. So, guys, what stands out to you in the south half of 7A?
I'll tell you this. Looking at the 9 different scenarios, and I would love to ask Brandon Shields this, and I'll ask him when we see him in Starkville at the state championships. I've never seen that many scenarios. I don't know if you guys recall one for one district, 9 different scenarios to determine how the seeding was going to play out. I remember 4 or 5, maybe 6. I don't remember 9. So I'm with you. I'm sitting here looking at this. I'm reading this, and I'm trying to play it out in my head because it's like solving for X and Y, man. It's why I was a history guy, right? History stays the same, and X and Y are always changing. Well, we found it. But to answer, I mean, I don't think this is the best district in 7A this year, but I do think there was more parity. And a lot of that has to do with Brandon's struggles, not being able to field the team they wanted under Lance Pogue. I think it has to do with an Oak Grove team being very, very young. a Petal team that's starting to surge upward. So at the end of the day, you shake it up, and this is what you end up with. And a Pearl team that's obviously, Jack Durr recovering from that injury, and Coach Schooler and crew still trying to implement what they want to do. And then Northwest Rankin, I mean, they've had some big wins, they've had some disappointing losses, and some very close losses. So, man, I mean, you shake it up, and this is what you get. But all that to say, I really think that Petal and Oak Grove are going to take care of business. I would say that Oak Grove's going to take care of business versus Pearl. I think Brandon's a shoe-in against Meridian. Petal is going to have a very tough ball game against Northwest Rankin. I think that's the one that may throw a wrench in it. Northwest Rankin's good enough to beat anybody in that district.
I mean, I agree. I do think that I think it plays out with the first scenario. I think Petal beats Northwest. I think Oak Grove takes care of Pearl, like you said, and then Brandon meets Meridian. But if there is, I guess you would say, the wild card, you're right, Shots, Northwest Rankin. I love what they're doing up in Northwest Rankin. That's a great ball team. We've seen what they did against Brandon. It was a slugfest. They can play defense there, and they can grind it out. They've got a big back. I can't remember the kid's name, but just an outstanding back, big-bodied kid that runs the ball extremely well. So that could be a wild card. But I do think that Petal probably takes care of business. You got Marcus Bowles. One of the best coaches in the business. He's going to have those kids ready. But if that's a big if, and don't be surprised with Pearl. We've seen Oak Grove at times let their guard down, and teams beat Oak Grove. So we saw it with Petal beating them earlier in the year. We thought that was a shoe-in win for Oak Grove. So if Pearl could go cause a little controversy, that would be huge. And I think our producer, Caleb Hamill, the math nerd, he did some math, and he said that if it came down to the 5-way tie, that Brandon would be the wild card out, which is amazing to me.
It is.
So, yeah. So based off the math, and I hadn't taken linear algebra, and it's been about 20 years since I've had linear algebra. I don't know how it all worked out, but at any rate, Caleb claims, that's from his math, that Brandon would be the odd man out. But yeah, that's going to be fun. I would love to see a little craziness out of that region, to be honest with you.
It's going to be fun to watch. And talking about Deshaun Dillon, the wide receiver at Northwest Rankin, and Hayden's the big back you were talking about.
There you go. Thank you. Jeremy Hayden.
Runs 143 yards a ball game. I mean, he is a great back. Thought he should have made maybe the All-Star games,
Agreed.
One of the bigger ones. But I think this team can win, but the problem is can you beat Petal, by 5? I think they've got to win by. So your scoreboard watching and everything else. So, that's really the question is can they beat Petal by 5 points or more? I don't know. I mean, this is where the handicappers to the stars are, great guys as far as figuring that out, but I don't know how much, experience they have in high school. But this one is just, I don't even know where to start when I start reading it, man, because I just keep going back with the scenario I read 3 scenarios ago, right? Because there's so many of them. So this is going to be fun to watch. And honestly, any of these scenarios are possible in that district. I think that is the most competitive district as far as how evenly matched the teams are.
Yeah, especially with Pearl amping it up and getting better toward the end of the season.
Late in the year, nailed it. Yes.
I do think, though, at the end of the day, when all the dust settles, that Petal's going to be the 1, Oak Grove 2, Brandon 3, Northwest Rankin 4. I just think that's how it's going to play out. I would not be upset if it went crazy because, again, I'm not calling or having to root for any of these teams. So the crazier, the better for this region, in my opinion, because could you just imagine, guys? I'm just imagine if we got down to a 5-way tie where we're doing a point differential to decide playoffs, and you could leave a powerhouse team like Brandon out. That would that'd be something else.
Yeah, and then that brings up some of the matchups in District 4.
No, I'm looking at this. If Pearl, it's 1 point. If Pearl beats Oak Grove by only 9 points or less, they got to go on the road. They beat Oak Grove by 10. They're at home. Second round. I mean, you think about that. That's a missed field goal. That's a missed PAT away from being at home or being on the road in the playoffs. So that's kind of the razor thin margin you have here. And as Jared was talking about, that's the difference from being at home at Ray Rogers Stadium or going to D'Iberville or something like that, right? It is insane.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all of these, and we've talked about Region 4, 7A maybe being, maybe this year they had some of the best teams, right? Gulfport, Ocean Springs, D'Iberville's been good. I mean, how about a West Harrison? We thought all season long West Harrison was going to, be there. Yeah. They're going to be sitting at home.
We're going to find out soon. We've heard about Coast football and the resurgence this year, and I agree. I do think that it's not lip say. I think there's some quality teams down there. And I can't remember if it was who it was. Maybe it was Caleb or one of you guys that said the last time a Coast team represented the highest classification was Ocean Springs in 2004.
Yeah.
And we're all wondering, is this the year that it changes? Because it really looks like it's a possibility with what, District 3 is going through. And then you look at the quality teams so far, what we think down on the coast in District 4.
I'm telling you, I've been a fan of D'Iberville all season. I'm still a big fan of D'Iberville. They're probably going to be the 3 seed, or likely the 3 seed. That means they travel, they would travel first round to Oak Grove. Holy cow. What a game that would be. They play defense.
No, not to interrupt you. Just something
ahead.
that popped up right here. This is how evenly matched. We talked about District 3 and the parity there. D'Iberville has given up 161 points. Ocean Springs, 162 on the year. Gulfport, 160.
Yeah. And look at that game, D'Iberville and Gulfport. Was it that last week or a week or two ago? It was a 3-point ball game. And if you had a scenario where Gulfport's the 1, obviously, D'Iberville's the 3, they go play Oak Grove in a second round. Now, we don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole, but in the second round, you would have a Gulfport D'Iberville matchup again.
Mm-hmm.
A head coach will tell you, you do not want to have to play a team twice to try to beat them, especially when you lost to them or you beat them just by a few points the first time around. So D'Iberville, in my opinion, is a wild card down in the south part of the state, and they play great defense. They've got one of the leading sack leaders, KJ Washington, on their team, and Jaden Wally does a great job of running that offense. They run the ball, they play defense. And all you guys know, and everybody knows, 2 things you need in the playoffs to be successful: run the football, don't make turnovers, and play defense. And they can do that. So it's a kind of intriguing they're an intriguing team to me, and one I'm going to keep my eye on throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, and another one here that kind of makes you wonder. Brandon, possibly the 3 seed if they get in, based on the most likely scenario. We're trying to use the ones that make a lot of sense. They would be on the road at Ocean Springs.
Yeah, and that's a team, and to me, if I'm Ocean Springs, I don't want to see that, because we know the playoffs is a new season. Ocean Springs is a team that's been good all season. They have aspirations of getting to Starkville. The nerves of the team, what is the mental makeup of those kids? Can they handle a team like Brandon coming in? I know they've had a rough season, but the makeup, and you've got one of the best backs in the entire country looking at you across the sideline, that would be interesting to see how Ocean Springs was able to handle that from a mental standpoint.
Well, how about Wimberley if that plays out? So he's got it made. Either way, he goes to Ocean Springs. The Bulldogs win, they keep going. Bulldogs lose, stays down there, has himself a weekend in Ocean Springs, which is a great place.
Not bad.
Great place to weekend, right? Down there in Ocean Springs. I just got emailed today on their Main Street, or someone down there was like one of the best in the country. So yeah.
It's not a bad place to enjoy a weekend even after a bad loss. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so maybe that's what Wimberley, I'm telling you, Wimberley's skipping tonight just so he didn't have to talk to us about Region 3 and all those scenarios. Well, we want to talk to you about C Spire. They don't wait on the future, they build it. Find out how they're harnessing the power of advanced technology to transform how you live and work. You can visit cspire.com today. C Spire, customer inspired. We're going to step aside for a break. When we come back, we'll take a look at 6A and 5A. This is the Varsity Voices podcast presented by C Spire.
Fowler GMC, our customers have been our priority for over 70 years. That same dedication happens today as we offer a wide range of options to cater to every taste and budget. Whether you're looking for a luxurious and versatile SUV or a powerful truck, we have it all. Our knowledgeable team is here to assist you every step of the way, and we are committed to providing fast and courteous service. Visit us today and experience the difference for yourself. Trust, service, and selection. Fowler GMC.
3rd and 6 from the 40-yard line.
Sure you're ready for this?
He takes a snap, drops back.
What's the right situation for a flea flicker?
They should have been in nickel defense. In that
There's a nickel and a dime?
Now for a proper bull rush start of 3-point stance.
What a disastrous play call.
Ready or not, here we go.
Hey, Dad.
You can call me Coach.
It's amazing what C Spire's nationwide 5G network can connect. C Spire, inspired by you.
Elegance is in the details. Pine Straw America's premium long-leaf pine straw subscription ensures your landscape stays pristine season after season. Precision edging, flawless installation, because your home deserves nothing less. Pine Straw America.
Welcome back into the Varsity Voices podcast presented by C Spire, where we are continuing to break down the scenarios for the playoffs. We just did 7A. Now we're looking at 6A, and this is Brandon Davis's neck of the woods. So we'll jump right in with Region 1, 6A. It's got a couple of different scenarios that can play out. So far, we know South Panola is number 1, and the Gators are number 2, however you say it. We had this discussion.
Yeah.
Lake Cormorant, however you say it. We'll get people in the comments.
I still don't know. That's the problem.
They'll comment and they'll tell us that we're saying it wrong. But the Gators are number 2. And then after that, you're looking at, a few other scenarios where if Grenada beats Saltillo and South Panola beats Center Hill, Grenada could be 3, Center Hill could be the 4. There's a situation where if Saltillo wins, Center Hill could be the 3, Saltillo could be the 4, Grenada could be on the outside looking in. And then you get down to the hold. If Saltillo beats Grenada by 12, South Panola beats Center Hill by 7, Center Hill's the 3, Saltillo's the 4, Grenada's still on the outside looking in. So there's a couple of different scenarios that could play out. Region 2, wish they could all be like Region 2. Like we wish they all could be California girls. We wish they could all be Region 2 6A. Warren Central, the Vikings are number 1. Ridgeland's number 2. The winner of Neshoba Central is going to be Neshoba Central Callaway is going to be the 3 seed, and the loser is going to be the 4 seed. So Brandon Davis, since this is your area of expertise, and since you just love Grenada, we'll let you talk about the matchups between Region 1 and 2.
I think Region 1 is pretty straightforward, as we said, Oh, and by the way, just for you people up at Lake Cormorant, or ever how we want to say it, if you've ever been to Louisville, and I'm about to make you some money, folks. If you've ever been to Louisville, Kentucky, I went up to Louisville, Kentucky, and there's a lot of ways you can say Louisville, like Louisville, Louisville, all that sort of stuff. They had a T-shirt made, and they had it all spelled out with the phonetics of the various ways to sell. Man, they sold a ton of those T-shirts. So all you folks up there at Lake Cormorant, or ever how you say it, there's you some money that you can make. You're welcome. Any rate, so I think it's pretty straightforward. I like South Panola, obviously, is going to be the 1. Cormorant's going to be 2. I just don't see it in a world where Saltillo beats Grenada. Would I love that for the people from Grenada that don't like me? You dang right I would. For Coach Mike Fair, I love you. You're one of my favorite coaches. But for the people that don't like me, I don't like you either. Yeah. So if you're sitting at home, I would laugh. But no, all jokes aside.
My goodness. It's playoff time.
Grenada's too good of a ball team not to beat Saltillo. They've had a couple of tough losses. I went back and watched the film of them against Cormorant and South Panola. Heartbreaking losses. Coach Fair is going to have that bunch ready. They're going to beat Saltillo. They're going to be in the playoffs. And South Panola is going to beat Center Hill. Those are the 2 best teams up there, I believe, or 2 of the best teams up there. So I could see it. South Panola is going to be 1, Cormorant 2, Grenada at 3, which to me is a big surprise because they're such a good ball club. And then 4 is going to be Center Hill. Which Center Hill, they're great. They're going to be 5-5. That is a very salty ball club, watching film on them as well. Going down to Region 2 is pretty simple. My boys at Warren Central, we took care of business. So Warren Central 1, Ridgeland 2. I really think Neshoba is going to beat Callaway. Different styles. Callaway, they come out running the old Power I offense. It was very weird to see that the other night, but they like to run downhill. They have a very huge offensive line. They average about 295 pounds on the offensive line. They just like to mash on you. But Neshoba Central has several pieces that I think this is going to help them win that game. So I see Warren Central's 1, Ridgeland 2, Neshoba Central 3, and Callaway at 4. Now, Shots, a game that, to my mind, that we talked about some of the big matchups we'd see in 7A or potential matchups. What it looks like is going to potentially happen. You're going to have Grenada as the 3 seed traveling down to face Ridgeland in round 1. That is going to be a banger of a ball game with those two.
Literally. I mean, you're going to have the wing tee for Ridgeland, really giving you that eye candy and then blowing it out the back door. And then you've got Grenada with the power run game. I mean, those two, that'll be a quick ball game. And that's the way it's looking. We'll see how it plays out. But that is going to be a game that challenges both squads. Grenada, look, they're used to coming downhill, but look, you've got to stay disciplined against that Ridgeland offense. They will eat your lunch. And for Grenada, they'll just run over you. So that is one of the most intriguing matchups, I think, of any potential playoff game, 1A through 7A.
It is. And you're absolutely right. And I mean, for both teams, they're like looking like, holy Toledo, we've got to face them in round 1. Round 1's supposed to be the easier matchup, and you get that in region, the second and the third round, obviously. But that's going to be a banger. That's two of the best teams, I think, in 6A right there. And it's a shame that they're having to play so early, but that's just how the cookies crumbled on that. Looking down at the South, are we ready to look at the South, Breck? I don't want to jump ahead.
Oh, yeah, we'll jump on, but I'm going to jump back.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah.
About Lake Cormorant or whatever in your T-shirt about, saying the pronunciations. I have a coffee mug right in there. It says Kosciuszko. It's got it spelled phonetically. It says Kosciuszko. Great place. Can't spell it. Can't say it. It's a coffee mug right in the kitchen.
Man. Simple.
Well, that's why we say it cozy now, COZY, because of you. I mean,
can't say it.
I know how to spell it now.
Can't spell it. So,
but before we get off of that, the Lake Comer or whatever the place is up in North Mississippi, way up yonder, that's a good ball team too.
They are.
My mind, I'm telling you, watching and looking at those guys, I would not be surprised. And I hate I'm having to say this because I want my Vikings in Starkville. I would not be surprised if they are a sleeper that makes it all the way up to 6A North. They are a solid football team. Tylen Matthews, he's kind of a jack of all trades for them. He is dynamic running the football. So, and they play great defense too. So,
I was about to say, Davis, they are surrendering only 19 points in district play. That is by far the best of anybody right now. Coming into the last game of the regular season.
And in my opinion, Region 1 is tougher than Region 2. You look at South Panola, Lake Cormorant, Grenada. To me, that's just a tougher road than what with Warren Central, Ridgeland, Neshoba, the top 3. If I had to rank those 3, I like Region 1 as a whole. So, again, that's going to be a team that people need to keep an eye on. They've kind of flown under the radar. Everybody said South Panola, Grenada up there, but the Gators from way up yonder is a team that you need to keep your eye on in 6A North.
However you say it, the Gators.
That's right.
Are definitely on the watch list. We will jump down to the South and Region 3. Still got a couple of ways that things could play out with, Hattiesburg could be a 1 with West Jones, the 2, and Terry being the 3. It doesn't matter because the 4 seed is just about set. If George County beats Forest Hill, then George County is the 4th seed. If Forest Hill beats George County by 9, then Forest Hill is the 4 seed. So you're really just looking at a difference between those top 3, between West Jones, Terry, and Hattiesburg. Jumping down into Region 4, down on the coast, pretty simple. Picayune's the 1, Pascagoula is the 2. Then you're looking at a situation where Hancock could be the 3, Pearl River Central could be the 4, or it could be flip-flopped. Then Pearl River Central could be the 3, and Hancock could be the 4. So, Jared, we'll start with you this time about some potential things that maybe stood out about both regions and then potential matchups.
Well, how about Hattiesburg? New coach this year. I think early on we all kind of said, maybe next year. Yeah. I mean, I think we kind of left them off and said, well, it's going to take a year or two to get their foundation, the new coaching staff. Hats off, man. 6 wins in a row. That is a team you don't want to play. I know they will square off with a very good Terry team. Terry with a really good defense, but all that to say, Picayune to me just plays a different brand of football. I really think they're going to make a run at this thing no matter how the seeding shakes out. And look, we've been high on Pascagoula. Davis and I have been talking about Pascagoula and their defense. Now they're kind of like Hattiesburg. Hattiesburg kind of had an excuse though not to pick things up immediately with their new coaching staff. Pascagoula had a lot of guys back and a lot of talent, but it took them a while to get going in district play. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be some really intriguing matchups. Terry and potentially Pascagoula, depending on how District 3 shakes out, could be a great ball game.
It's going to be a great ball game. And I mean, Terry's a wild card because I love them. And they should have beaten West Jones. They go down there, they lose. I think it's, just a couple of scores. This game against Hattiesburg is extremely intriguing. I do like Hattiesburg just because I think they're hot. I think they've got, as far as the passing attack goes, they can open it up more. That passing game can help open up their running game. I just think they're more balanced, Hattiesburg, that is. But yeah, that Pascagoula team, Pascagoula's secondary, I think is loaded with Division I prospects. And look, kudos to Lewis Sims and them finally getting it turned around down there. They are where we thought they were going to be. It's like you said, Shots were just a little surprised it took them this long to get here. So, that's Pascagoula is down there, but, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming I have Hattiesburg as my 1, West Jones as my 2, Terry at 3, and then I just don't see George County not beating Forest Hill. I've got George County as the 4 in Region 3.
Yeah, I play an omen here right before we got on to record. I'm involved in that lovers quarrel between the two media conglomerates, right? And so I don't have a lot to watch on my TV. So I just turn on regular YouTube and I just hit play, right? Because I have like a playlist or whatever. And right before we came on, Ray Stevens and the Mississippi Squirrel Revival was on in the sleepy little town of Pascagoula. So right before we came to record, it's been in my head. So I'm rolling with the good omen there about Pascagoula coming out of the 6A South, right? They had a good one over Picayune, right? They were up a little bit in that ball game late.
Yeah, guys, it'll be a fight for survival.
Yeah, exactly.
See what you did there.
Let's keep this going.
Let's see what you did there.
It's me again, Margaret. All right. Let's see. So that wraps up 6A, and now we'll jump down into 5A. Guys, I don't know about on yours, but every scenario I see at 5A just says West Point. Region 1, West Point. Region 2, West Point. Region 3, Region 4. It's all roads lead to West Point. But,
as y'all can see, time is running out on everybody else.
Hold on, I've got something for this.
Not to disparage anyone else. Yeah. Shots is going to come back naked.
Turn out the lights. The party's over.
As long as he doesn't start stripping over there, we're good.
Well, yeah. Sorry if I did my best Dandy Don Meredith that I could. But,
we can make it. We can do it.
It's over.
Turn out the lights, and you ain't got to go home.
But you can't stay here.
So,
well, Coach Brett Morgan and that coaching staff, they are saying this is the ultimate rat poison. But
yeah,
I mean, look, the eyes don't lie, man.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I mean, the one thing intriguing about Region 1 is who's going to win between Lafayette and Pontotoc. I mean,
yeah, West Point's the 1, New Hope's the 2, and then, as Brandon said, Lafayette, Pontotoc, winners 3, and the losers 4.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Yeah, now Region 2 is interesting because, you have several scenarios down there. It's almost as convoluted as what we saw back up in 7A north with Brandon and that calamity. But to me, you know, I think if you look at the bullet one that Shields has here, Cleveland Central should beat Provine. Now, Florence, that is a team I can't figure out. They're a team that goes and they beat, like they lose to Vicksburg. They're up by 11 and lose to Vicksburg. But then they go and didn't they beat Cleveland Central? I believe they beat Cleveland Central. I have to double check that. But they had a big win in the season. But Florence is a team I can't really figure out. I think Lanier beats Vicksburg. That's going to be played at North Jackson. That'll be a good game. So I honestly see the way it playing out. Cleveland Central is the 1 seed, which is kind of a surprise. Lanier dropping to the 2, Home Central at 3, and then Vicksburg. I really like Vicksburg. I think they get in as the 4.
Just serious question. Has Lanier ever hosted a playoff game?
I don't think so. I mean,
we can find out.
I mean, I'm sure at some point they probably did. I wonder how long it's been, and it hasn't been often.
Yeah, the only thing I hate about Lanier being at the 2, if they are at the 2, is that if they were able to get past their first round game, the way the bracket's set up, if they play Pontotoc, which I would assume that they could probably get past Pontotoc, we'd have to see, they'd have West Point in the second round. I would want that to be North State, man. That would just be awesome for that to be the North State, but that's not how the bracket's going to fall out for them. But nonetheless, still, I'm still a huge fan of what Tommy Kelly's done over there. They are going to host a playoff game in Jackson, and that's just good for them. That's just awesome to see.
According to this, they did host a playoff game last year. They hosted Summerall.
Oh,
they hosted a game last year.
They hosted Summerall.
Wow.
And then they lost at Forest. They lost a close one, 23-20.
Oh, they were 4A last year, right?
Yeah,
that's what it was. Yeah,
that's right. So they bumped up to 5 this year. Okay.
Yeah, and before that, I think the last time I found was 1986.
Okay, all right.
They hosted a couple of ones. Hosted South Haven and Clarksdale back in 1986. But other than that, yeah. So that's But yeah, you know, we've been fans of Lanier all year long. But you know, if you're looking at a scenario where Lanier could be the 4 seed, and then you have a West Point Lanier matchup, which would be awfully fun. But yeah, so Region 2 in Region 1, but like, you know, kind of like we all said, it's all just like who gets to be the sacrificial lamb to West Point in the North.
If I may ask a question, would the West Point Maniacs be mad at me if Vicksburg somehow went up there and beat them in the first round? Would it be my fault?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know Warren Central and Vicksburg's a huge rival, but would the Maniacs, would y'all blame me if for some reason if Vicksburg won that game?
I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to put out a PSA. I'm going to have a charter bus. It's going to start out in West Point, make its way west over to Grenada, and then down, and then westbound to Vicksburg. Yep.
Who else hates me? I know I got Grenada and I got West Point.
We can figure out the logistics. I know.
Cormorant. Y'all hate me too. I mean, you know, just bring it on.
Start a Facebook group, the Brandon Davis Haters Club.
Doesn't matter. Jake Wimberly's going to take care of it. West Lauderdale, I mean, so they're different.
Like the He-Man Woman Haters Club, but it's the Brandon Davis Haters Club. But we've talked about the North, and it's all West Point, but somebody's got to make it to Starkville to play West Point, and 5A in the South might be one of the most up in the air regions that there is. So it couldn't be like different. Everyone thinks, you know, West Point in the North out of the South could be a number of teams. You're looking at Brookhaven. They're the 1 seed out of Region 3. And then the winner of Laurel and South Jones is going to be the 2 seed. After that, things kind of break down where you could see Laurel is a 3 seed, Sumrall is a 4 seed, South Jones could be a 4 seed, North Pike could get in there as the 3 seed. You're looking at, you know, maybe Natchez could be a 4 seed. So there's a lot of different things that could, you know, happen in Region 3. In Region 4, almost about as crazy with Stone. The Tomcats, you know, one of my favorite mascots in the state. I said Stone Tomcat, sounds like a wrestling name. They clinched the 1 seed in Wayne County. The or Eagles there are the 2 seed. And after that, you're seeing a scenario where Purvis could be a 3, Northeast Jones could be a 4. There's a situation where Van Cleve could be a 3, Purvis is the 4. Northeast Jones could be the 4. East Central could jump up and be the 3 with Van Cleve as the 4. So, yeah. There's a whole lot of different scenarios in that one. But, guys, what stands out to you about Region 3, and who do you think comes out of this side to maybe take on a West Point?
I mean, I think you've got to go with Brookhaven. I mean, that was the team in the preseason. They've been a roller coaster. But as far as talent, I think you got to go with Brookhaven. But you beat a Madison Central, and then you come back and you lose some ball games you shouldn't lose. So I don't know if they have the maturity level yet to take on a West Point. I don't know if any of these teams do. So I mean, but if there's one that I'm going to look at, then you look at South Jones.
Yeah.
That's another team that really kind of came out of nowhere, but then they lose a ball game they shouldn't after a big win earlier this year. Was that Macomb they beat and then drop a tough one the next week? So
North Pine.
Right.
Yeah, North Pike. Yeah. So I don't know, Davis. I mean, do you have any other ideas of who could possibly come out of here and compete? I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, the crazy thing is that there are a lot of, and I don't mean any disrespect when I say this. I won't say that you're good teams, and I won't say you're bad teams either. There's some average teams in the south part of the state. In my mind, it's Brookhaven, South Jones, maybe Stone, and then everybody else. I mean, I love South Jones. Colin Flowers is a kid that we've talked about all year. Anquan Jackson, the running back wide receiver, is just, is a good ball player. If you saw a situation of South Jones and Old Brook meeting up for South State, I would not be surprised at all. But I'm kind of like y'all. I just hadn't seen anybody. Old Brook shows some signs of potentially matching up against West Point, but I just don't think they can do it. And, I mean, look at this. All right. You look at Region 4. This just kind of give you an idea of, I'd say, the parity of Region 4. Wayne County is your 2 seed, right? They're 3-6 on the season. 3-6. And they were 0-5 before region play. They're 3-1 in region play. They were winless before they got into region play. Northeast Jones 4-5, Purvis 5-4, Stone 4-3, 6-3. So
6-3, yep.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not a very strong region down out of Region 4. You got to think the upper hand's going to go to Region 3, and Brookhaven, South Jones, in my opinion, are the 2 cream of the crops. Now, Laurel is another team that seems like they want to start playing some ball now.
Yeah,
they started
do this
out
every year. It seems like.
Yeah, they were 0-5, and then all of a sudden they win 3 games. They went 3-1 in region play. So who the heck knows? Laurel's is another team. They've got a couple of kids in some all-star games that they can play some ball, but. To me, just looking at this, I mean, the obvious choice is either going to be Old Brook or South Jones in the south part of the state.
Yeah, I would agree. And other than that, Stone, I think you're right. It could be maybe a little bit of a wild card there. They played not too hard of a schedule, but they did give Poplarville a run for their money. That was a 1-point loss, 22-21. We obviously know how well, Poplarville, what they have this year. And so a good win there. But yeah, I think I'd probably say what you guys said, maybe a Brookhaven or a South Jones kind of seems to be the most likely. But, at the end of the day, it's like out of the frying pan into the fire because you get to start filling. It's the West Point Greenway. If West Point makes it, is it 9-10 years in a row that they've made it?
Lost count.
A look.
Yeah, it's a lot, right? It's either 9 or 10. I couldn't remember. We talked about it earlier in the year. I think about maybe Chris Brooks or Brad Logan and I talked about it when we had that interview segment, and so we, it's just West Point. So that's what you're looking at when it comes to 5A and a breakdown of 6A. 7A, 5A, and 6A. Appreciate Brandon Shields. Of course, if you want to see what we're seeing, it is on their website, capitalsportsms.com, and it'll be right there on the front page, and Brandon does a great job, breaking down all of these scenarios so that the rest of us don't have to get out our abacus and our pre-algebra and calculus book and read the stars and everything and all of that. So yeah, we appreciate Brandon for doing that. But I want to remind you that this segment built by Cherokee Brick, America's most trusted brick supplier. So we appreciate Cherokee Brick for partnering with us on the Varsity Voices podcast. But guys, unless you got any final thoughts, you guys got games this week. Y'all got Thursday night games.
Yeah, and have y'all seen that a lot of games that was supposed to be Fridays being moved to Thursday now? So, but yeah, we've got a Thursday night game. We'll do senior night against Canton. That's going to be a tough ball game with a pass-happy Tiger team coming to town. So we'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah, I'll say this, guys. I think right now, if you've already clinched a spot, and maybe on paper and even on the field, you play an opponent that maybe you're going to whip or you are beating pretty badly. At some point, as you get to maybe, and then you take the last regular season game and you go into the first round of the playoffs and you play a team maybe of the same caliber. That it's a 4 seed and you're a 1, or maybe a struggling 3 and you're a 2 hosting. I think the biggest challenge is for these coaches to somehow to get their team to stay up and competitive and battle tested. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of them are having live tackling to the ground the next few weeks. And there's a few of these teams that, they should take care of business the last regular season game and then into the first round of the playoffs. So some of these teams that we're already, counting as shoe-ins, be careful because they may be looking ahead, or maybe they're just kind of going through the motions here the last couple of weeks, or going into the playoffs. So that's going to be interesting. There's always a huge upset that we are like, what just happened in the playoffs? So there's going to be 1 or 2.
Yeah, I've been talking about that with some folks this week. Kosciuszko, since the Louisville game, Kosciuszko defense has not given up a touchdown. 0. Goose eggs. The only touchdown they got was Greenwood got a pick 6. Other than that, it's been cruise control, right? So just like you said, you got to find a way to go from cruise control to turn it on when the lights come on. So hopefully that a lot of the teams are ready to go. But whatever you do, just don't sit out your starters on purpose, because bad things seem to happen when you do that. And then in certain ball games, that's a story for another podcast. But for our whole crew, Brandon Davis, Jared Schatz, I'm Breck Riley, signing off here on the Varsity Voices podcast presented by C Spire.